So maybe a month or so ago now, I talked about the fear of being perceived and how it's something that I've been actively working on and how I wanted to talk about it here, and so I'll probably do a video later to talk about how my fear of being perceived has led into love addiction, but I want to talk about what it looks like here, just being a person who heals professionally for a living, helps other people work through trauma, and helps them step into being their better self. I think something that makes me grateful about this journey is because I understand, not just brain wise, but I understand in my heart how terrifying it can be to put yourself out there, to allow people to see you, flaws and all. Because even though other people are telling you positive things, what you truly feel about yourself on the inside is really crippling. The voices in your head are louder than others. So not only are you dealing with your own inner criticism, now you're dealing with, if you're someone who is more aligned to wanting to perform and make people happy, or be a perfectionist or whatever, now you're dealing with, why can't I just do it? Like, why can't I just snap out of it? So now you're having guilt, maybe some embarrassment, and all those things. But one thing that is different for me now, as I continue to work through this, what helped me come to a place to where I can be in front of this camera in front of you right now, instead of, I've done my podcast for years, and I think it's truly because I love audio. I remember listening to radio shows and audio podcasts when I was younger and being like, that's amazing. I don't think I've ever really looked at folks who have been in front of screens and talk shows and been like, that's my jam. I'm at a place now where I'm not going to cut that out as an option, because sometimes in our fear of being too much, we can limit ourselves. But all that to say, I know that me doing a lot of audio-based content is truly because I really like it. However, me coming on here and showing my face and telling y'all about it, and sharing my life or sharing some things that are going on has been very hard because of negatively held beliefs that I had about what I was worth, about whether or not my voice mattered, about whether or not what I said was important, about not wanting to take up other people's time, about wanting to get to the point, which is a whole lot of chatter of things that people from my past have said to me. So for me to get to the place where I am now, it started with me learning how to try to change. It started with me being kinder to myself about where I was. Instead of criticizing myself that this is hard for me to do, to practice some self-compassion around, this makes sense why this is hard. This happened to you. This didn't happen to you when you needed it to happen for you. These were things that were said to you. This is how you were treated. This is where you were excluded. This is where you really needed to be included. And so your trauma is valid. Your fears make sense. They're legitimate, and you get to have them. And for a perfectionist like me, there still, as much as I tell my clients to kind of allow yourself to go slow, there still is kind of my own personal kind of arms race in trying to get to this place of perfection, to where I can operationalize it, give you the quick 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps, go through all the roadblocks to help you shortcut yourself to make sure you don't get there or have to experience them. But this journey is part of it. At the end of last year, I had an episode of my podcast titled, I want to say, The 4 Seasons of Healing. And I talked about how basically for many of us, there are some core negative beliefs that we may be able to heal completely and to no longer be an issue for us. And there may be some that as we continue to grow, we're just going to keep getting deeper and deeper and peeling off the layers of that. And I think for me, there's this fear of being too much, being in people's way, being too much. And so I'm not where I was last year or years ago or high school or anything like that, but there's still space for me to excel in and grow in. And so, why am I sharing this here? Because I said I wanted to connect it to business. I know I have a lot of healers who follow me. I know I have a lot of people who have a heart to help other people and to have your message out here. Whether or not you are a spiritual healer, you're an emotional or mental health healer like me, whether or not you're a beautician, whether or not you have tips and tricks for people, whether or not you just are an encourager and a motivator. But I know there's a lot of people who limit themselves from putting themselves out there because they are afraid to be seen. They're afraid to be seen being imperfect. And I want you to know that you matter exactly where you are. That your voice and your message and your imperfections are healing for others. I've shared this message a little bit in the past, and I got a lot of responses from people who feel the same way. Who are also battling this area to be perceived, And it's okay for people to see you trying. It's okay for you to still be figuring it out. It's okay for you to be fully you and you're still enough. So I just wanted to share that for anyone who has been hiding and needing to show up a little bit more, that you deserve. And I'm wishing you the best and all the luck on your journey. You got this.